Check. All right, are we back? Tell me if you can hear me. Nothing like some good connection issues right as we're starting. All right, so yeah, let me know if you guys can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. If all that is good, then let me know where you are tuning in from. Make sure all of this is working on my end. Can hear and see. Okay, sweet. Awesome. And sorry about that. I had to restart my internet. Okay, welcome everybody. So for those of you who aren't familiar with this, we try to do these Sunday night lives as much as we can on Sundays at the night. Basically, I'll come on and I'll hang out with you guys. I'll put out some announcements like from Hustle Buddies as far as things that are upcoming, things to watch for, all of that stuff. I might bring a couple things and topics that I want to talk about specific to that week. And then basically I open the floor up to you guys to hear what issues you're dealing with. How can we help come alongside you and help you guys grow your businesses? Awesome. Welcome, everybody. What's up, Andy? What is up, Chris? Logan? Another Chris. Adriana. Another Chris. Wow, there's like 3-4 Chris's in here already. What's up, guys? Gina. Awesome. What's up, guys? A lot of people over from our YouTube channel. I want to make sure that we are connected on Facebook as well. I see a ton of comments from YouTube, which is awesome. I see just a couple comments from Facebook, which is unusual. Read only. Huh. Okay. I think it's connected. All right. Yeah, there's a couple people coming in from Facebook. Okay, sweet. All right. So on the docket today, everybody, we've got a couple things. There's a couple new and exciting things that Hustle Buddies is doing that I'll sort of lay out and talk about what you can expect, what to keep an eye out for if you guys are interested in signing up, all of that. I'm going to be talking about Keepa. That's really like the big thing that I wanted to do today. I wanted to hear you guys and hear some ASINs from you guys. And really like break down the Keepa, because I've seen a lot of questions recently of people that are struggling reading Keepa charts, and they're relatively simple once you get the hang of it. So I wanted to break down a couple and get, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 different items that I can plug into Keepa. If you guys want to share ASINs in this chat, you're welcome to. I don't recommend sharing like a replenishable item because there's going to be a lot of people who are going to see whatever ASIN you post. But if it was like a clearance item or something like you're not really sure about, or something you passed on, but you're not sure if you should have passed, something like that. If you want to share the ASIN in the chat bar, I'll be spending some time looking those up as well. Okay, so in Hustle Buddies news, so we've basically got, we've got 3 things that are sort of on the horizon that are coming soon. The first thing, which we're super excited about, is we're putting together sort of like a seller calendar and a seller planner. We asked about this a couple weeks ago in one of our live sessions, and a ton of people really liked the idea. So we went out, we paid somebody to help, but like we paid a designer to help put something together that looked good, but also had all of the information that we need. So we're going to be releasing that here, hopefully in the next like 2 weeks or so. It's going to be super cheap, guys. We might even try to do it where like it can be print on demand. So you could either get like a digital download, or you could order it from like Amazon KDP or something like that. I'm still trying to figure out the logistics behind all of that, but yeah, we're really excited. Let me fix that. We're excited about that, sort of putting together a cool seller calendar. So that's on the horizon. The next thing on the horizon, we're shifting something. I talked about this again a couple weeks ago. We talked about doing like some ungating help. And I think it needs to go further than that. I think like if we're going to help people with ungating, we should make some sort of like insiders advanced group where people can come in. There'd be a small monthly fee, something like that, just to help with all the expenses involved with that. It would be something that you could go into that would be way more in-depth and advanced. There would be like help with ungating, help with finding wholesale. It's specific help, not just the like, oh yeah, just go to Google. Like I'm talking like, here's, oh, you want, I don't know, Canon, you want to sell Canon printers? Okay, go to xyz.com and order it here and type this in. All right, so we're talking that kind of help. bringing in, like doing ongoing training in that kind of insiders group where I'm helping you do online arbitrage and things like that. We could have like directories that we facilitate. We could pull in like, here's prep centers that we have used that people in the group know and like, and can sort of vouch for in a way. Because I know there's a lot of things out there where there's so many different options and a lot of them are good. Some of them are bad. And so we can sort of help put together some directories as far as that goes. But yeah, so that's sort of on the horizon. We'll be talking more about that in the coming weeks as sort of like an insiders group. Because I feel like there's the longer that Hustle Buddies has existed, the more we need to help people. Not like the more helpless people become, but the more that people look for these more like in-depth, more like small, tight-knit communities where there is significantly more help going in and significantly more information and guides and tutorials and all sorts of things. So yeah, so that is the plan there. Again, keep an eye out for that. The third thing that we are doing, we're actually going to be redoing our beginners kickstart webinar. So if you guys haven't done that and you're brand new, you're like, I have no idea how to set up an account, how to ship something, all of that stuff. We already have a beginners Kickstarter, and it's fine. It's workable and people are still getting it and they're getting value from it, but it's about a year and a half old. So I wanted to update it, bring some new life into it. There's maybe like 2 or 3 things that have changed since we made it. They're not big things, but they have changed. So we are updating that as well for you guys because we want to help do the best that we can for you guys. All right, so those are the new things as far as Hustle Buddies is concerned. Let me see. Let me dive in. Waiting for the engaging group. Yeah, Karen, it is coming. Give me like 2 weeks or so. We're a little bit busy. For those of you guys who don't know, like our personal life, we just bought a crazy like 70s house from the 70s. You can see the red shag carpet behind me. And here, I'll turn my camera even. You can see over there, this is our master bathroom. Where is it? Master bathroom with shag carpet all the way up the tub. So it's a little crazy and it's definitely a project and my wife's been doing like content about that. So we have been busy with all of our different side hustles, but we're making time for you guys. Okay, let's dive into some Keepa. That's tonight's big thing. So I'm going to go through, I'm thinking like 5 or 6 different Keepa charts. And if you guys have ASINs you want to share, great. If not, I'm probably just going to go to Amazon and just pull up random items and see what we can find. And I'll try to find a couple different charts that look a little bit different to give you guys a little bit of variation as far as what you might come across. But reading Keepa charts, it's really not all that complicated. Now, there are complicated things. I mean, there's ways that you can really dive into Keepa. Logan, I'll try to take care of that after this call. There's ways that you can dive into Keepa that are more in depth, but I mean, if you just get the basics, you're getting about 90% of what the software is. So let me put this up. If you guys aren't using Keepa, you should. It's the most important tool you need to use for this whole business. I'll post a link here in chat too. So it's bit.ly/ this is case sensitive, HB Keepa. All right, whoops. bit.ly/ oh, I see what it did. Can I not type that? Oh, my computer. That's annoying. All right, never mind. I can't type that. Maybe somebody else can type that in chat, but it is case sensitive. Okay, let me share my screen here. Probably just do... Oh, actually, sorry. I'm jumping around a little bit, but I'm going to share this real fast too because it's too funny. When people ask to join Hustle Buddies, there's all these like entrance questions that they ask. This is probably my new favorite answer. And a huge shout out to all of you guys because Hustle Buddies just passed 30,000 members. And it's because people like share our group all over the place. You can see this. I always ask people, where did you hear about the group from? And I can't read all of the answers, but I try to read a fair amount. This one just cracked me up. My eyelash gal. So like someone was getting their eyelashes done and their eyelasher was just apparently talking about Hustle Buddies and talking us up and talking about how great of a community we are. So we appreciate that, whoever that eyelash gal is out there. Yeah, we appreciate that. And that's really how we're growing, is just people learn and then they share and they're like, hey, this is a great place and a great community. So it's all because of you guys. All right, let me see here. Chrome tab. I'll just do my application window. Okay, so we're gonna get a little bit crazy here in a second. Yeah, looks a little funky. Okay, so for those of you guys who are not using Keepa, just a brief overview of what Keepa does. Keepa tells you if something is selling and historically how much it's been selling for. Those are the two most important things that you use Keepa for. Let me actually pause for a second. Sometimes I have audio problems when I am sharing my screen. So if you could let me know that you can in fact still hear me. I don't want to explain all this stuff and then no one can hear me. And someone did ask if this is the paid version of Keepa. Yes, the free version of Keepa is worthless. Don't waste your time on it. I wish it told you interesting information, but it does not. If you're not going to pay for Keepa, don't bother using the free version. The free version, I don't even have an analogy for it. Yeah, it's like, can I put air on my peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Yeah, sure. It doesn't matter. It doesn't do anything. Okay, sweet. Audio is clear. Okay, let me jump back into this then. So Keepa tells you price history and sales rank history chart. The sales rank is where something ranks in regards to everything else in that category. So let me give you guys an example real fast. Let's say, I'll just type in Nike, okay? Usually we'd be doing this a little bit differently, but you know, we're going with it. Okay, so we've got some Nike socks here. And originally, I mean, if this is like your first time using Keepa, you're gonna be overwhelmed with information. We don't wanna be overwhelmed with information. We want only what is super, super, super important to us, okay? So here's what is super, super, super important to us. Sales rank, right there. If you turn everything else off, just look at the sales rank history, and this is pretty much all you need to know about this, all right? Some other useful things, if you're like, okay, I understand sales rank, I'm ready to move on to the next step, you can turn on like the new offers and the buy box, all right? Yeah, or list price. Most of these things are pretty similar. There's very subtle, slight differences between them. But I would say the buy box is important. So you can see like historically, what is this priced at? A weird thing with this blue line that catches some people up is that this usually does not include the shipping charge. So this could be a merchant fulfilled offer that's listing it for $22 plus $13 of shipping or whatever. So it looks like it's 22, but honestly, it's probably up here with this buy box. Okay. All right. So this is almost everything you need to learn. Once you get that done, you're like, okay, I understand how to see the sales rank and all of that. And I understand like the historical pricing and all of that. The last useful thing that I encourage people to sort of figure out is down here at this bottom, the new offer count and the review count, okay? So the graph won't make sense if you have both of those on simultaneously, because the new offer count is gonna be like in the 30s and the review count is gonna be in the thousands. So the graph can't hold both of those data sets within the same graph, so don't bother trying to see both at once. I'll get into this in a second, and I'll get into this in a second, but just so you guys are aware, those are sort of like the 3 levels of like, this is basic Keepa. You understand sales rank first, then you understand the historical pricing second, then you understand the like how many people are selling it and the reviews that are coming onto it. All right, those sort of the 3 steps to understanding a Keepa chart. Now we're gonna go back down to the very first step, because this is, again, most of what you need to use Keepa for is this right here. And again, this is the paid version of Keepa. The free version is unfortunately worthless. Okay, so we're looking at this pair of Nike socks right here, and we're looking at the sales rank. Now we see this sales rank right now is like 100 and something. Okay. Now, personally, I know from experience, this is a phenomenal sales rank. This is selling like hundreds of times per day. You can't keep this thing in stock, assuming that you have the buy box. Okay. And when we look historically, the sales rank is moving up and down. When sales ranks are this low, when they're in the 500s, you cannot figure out how much something is selling. You can't be like, I estimate that this is selling 1,200 times per month. That's ridiculous. No one can estimate that. We can give you like ballparks, but no one has any idea. Okay. When the sales rank is this low, and low is good because the closer to number one it is, the more it's selling. The number one, like if it has a sales rank of 1, that would mean it is the number one highest selling. In this particular thing, it would be sporting. This is in the sports and outdoors section. It would be the number one sports and outdoors item on all of Amazon. Okay. So obviously that would be selling really well. This is the 100th best-selling sports and outdoor things. So yeah, this is also flying off the shelf, okay? Sure, we see in the past the sales rank did go up, but even, I mean, the sales rank of 1,500, that is still phenomenal, and you see it still moving all the time. So when you see this, if you're like looking at the store, you're like, I don't know if this will actually sell. You pull up this chart and you see all this movement. The key here is movement. You see the movement? Awesome, it's selling. That's all you need to know. You don't need to know exactly how many you're selling. That's not important. You need to know if it's moving. Okay. All right. So there's our first example. Let me pull up maybe another example. And if you guys have examples that you want me to check, let me see over in our chat if we have any. Let's see. I don't think. Oh, let me put this back up in case you guys want that link. I don't think we've have any ASIN requests yet. Okay. So I'm going to pull up some other things that I personally have been, because like I'm buying this for our new house, got to clear out the backyard. So this is an item that I was looking at today for my own personal self. And I have Keepa that's directly on Amazon. Now, this is actually a really cool setting. If you guys are not aware, or if you don't have this set up, let me show you how to do that real fast. So over here in Keepa, I'll do it from the basic for you guys, just so I don't lose anybody. So Keepa.com, you're logged in. You go to your settings. You go to website. Then down here at the bottom, show price, history graphs, overlays, hovering Amazon products. Boom. Yes. All right. And there's a couple other things in there as well that you can turn on. But that's how I can see Keepa overlaid right on top of stuff that I'm looking at. All right. So I see here that this item, ever since September, it has been phenomenal. Now, this is hard to teach because it's sort of like a basic math thing from elementary school. Okay. I'll zoom out again. There's a lot of people who are like, man, it was moving really, really well, and then it stopped moving. That's not the case, people. It's just how if a graph has to show a data point of 17,000 and a data point of 300, like this, this is called the y-axis. All right, from here to here is 5,000. If you zoom in, now from there to there, it's 400. Okay, so it's still moving. It's just how graphs are created. Okay, so you do need to remember some of that elementary math or middle school math whenever you did graphs. I guess not elementary. They probably did that in middle school. But yeah, okay. So let me zoom back out for you guys. This is the past 3 months. If I saw this in the store and if it was a good price and if I could make money, like let's say, so I see it selling for $169. Let's say I find this on clearance for $50. It's like, wow, it's $50. Is this selling on Amazon? Yes, I know for a fact, 100% it is selling, because look at all this movement. It's flying all over the place. It's got a great sales rank. We can see it has a ton of reviews. Yes, obviously this thing is selling, okay? And it's selling well. Now, if you scanned this, I'm moving back out to a year. If you scan this in this section, now I'm just clicking and dragging for those of you guys who are curious what I'm doing. Scan it in this section. You're like, well, it wasn't selling as much. Like, I don't really know. Here, sorry, I'm jumping all around. It's like, it wasn't really selling as much back here in May, June, and July. Yes, it was. Okay, this is still a ton of movement. It's still ranked like 5,000 in, what is this, patio and outdoor. Yeah, this is still a great rank, and it's still moving up and down and up and down and up and down. The phrase that I like to use is, when you're looking at this green bar right here, does it look sort of like a heartbeat or sort of like a skyline or a sound wave or something like that? Is it moving all around? If it's moving, it's selling. If the graph, let's just pretend, now this is not the graph, but let's just pretend that this thing down at the bottom was the sales rank. If this is what your sales rank looks like, where it is a perfectly flat line drop right there, that means it has sold one time right then. And it has never sold anywhere in here if this is what your graph looked like, okay? All right, so there's that item, another great seller. I want to hopefully find something that's maybe not selling quite as much. Let me go to Amazon. We've got a friend, Teal Paisley Tights. I use this as an example a lot. Paisley, how do you spell this? I'm not sure how to spell that. There we go. All right, so we've got a friend who wrote this book, Teal Paisley Tights, and it's been on Amazon for a while. Now I'm going to look at the Keepa because this, like, it's our friend's personal book. It's not like Nike socks. So obviously the Keepa graph is going to look significantly different, okay? I'm going to turn everything off. Now we're looking at this sales rank, okay? This is for the past year. This graph, I can tell you pretty much exactly, maybe not exact, because sometimes there's like 2 or 3 bought at a time, but I can tell you within a fairly accurate guess how many times this has sold. See, nothing has sold, nothing has sold, nothing has sold. Boom, it sells once at the beginning of June. Nothing sells, boom, it sells another time, maybe twice. It's hard to tell exactly. Right there in the middle of June. Then not selling, boom, there it goes. It sells at like the middle of October, all right? And it doesn't look like it has sold since then. So this is a little bit easier to tell. Now, if you saw this item in the store and you're like, oh man, I can buy this for, I don't know, $2, okay? Well, you look like, well, you're buying it for $2. You're selling it for $10.70. Your buy cost is $2. Like, well, I can make 30 cents. Yeah, you might be able to make 30 cents, but you're probably going to wait like 3, 4, 5 months for this thing to sell, okay? Just to sort of give you guys a different view on that, a different kind of graph. All right. Anyone else? If anyone can give me an ASIN that they want me to check, let me know. Drop it down in the comment section here. And I'll turn this off for now. There are currently no coupons or anything like that for Keepa, but it's pretty cheap. It's like, I don't know, like 15 or 18 or something like that. It's in euros per month. The amount of money that this will save you from not buying bad things is well worth the cost. Like, this is, once you have your professional account, this is step 1. Like, how do I know if something is selling? Keepa. Keepa is the answer. This question right here is sort of why I'm showing this, because we see this a lot. What is the recommended sales rank to stay within? There's no such thing. You're looking for movement. It doesn't matter. So let me, I'll share my screen again. Let's say we look at this Teal Paisley Tights thing, okay? Let's just pretend like I told you, oh, for books, stay under 1 million. If you had scanned this book on October 10th and you saw that it was ranked 244,000, you'd be like, oh, wow, Nate said this is a great rank. This is way under 1 million. I'm going to buy 10 of these because this is going to sell all the time. See how that doesn't work? Because if I told you that and you bought 10, you literally have not sold that book since then. Or on the flip side, if I had told you on October 5th, oh, you have to stay under 1 million in books, you're like, oh, I'm going to pass on that. Literally the very next day, it sold. So like, you see what I mean? As far as you can't base your decision solely off of the sales rank number, because the sales rank is just at this moment in time, and I think it updates every like 30 minutes or something. It's at this moment in time, where does this item rank compared to everything else? 10 minutes from now, is that going to be different? Yesterday, is it going to be different? Yes and yes, okay? So don't think of like a sales rank, and this is why we don't ever promote those like sales rank charts that are out there. And a funny fact about those, so there's a couple sales rank charts where it's like, oh, here's, it'll be ranked 1% in books if it's under 1 million, or I don't know, whatever it says. And a lot of people use these sales rank charts, and it's okay for like your first day or 2 sourcing, just to give you a basic idea of like, oh, okay, that's sort of a good rank, that's sort of a bad rank. But it's such a terrible beginner's crutch. Even the people who make those sales rank graphs. So there's 2 that I'm thinking of. So I know Reezy makes one, and I know Steve Smotherman makes one. Both of them have said on multiple occasions, we do not like these. These are bad tools. You should not be using this. You should be using Keepa. But they will continue making it because people keep asking them to make it, because people sort of want that crutch. but it's a bad crutch. It's keeping people handicapped. If you're just basing things off of a sales rank, you're going to sort of stay handicapped like that. All right. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else. Let's see. Keepa will show you all the marketplaces. There should be a little tab. Yeah, language. I think it does. I'm almost positive. Maybe someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But they're based in the UK, so I know that they would have to at least work in the UK and the US. And if they work in both of those places, then they should work everywhere. Okay, let me see. Can I copy this? No, I can't. Okay, hang on a second. B08JPV256C. Thank you very much, Karen. All right, let me pop this ASIN into Keepa. All right, and we'll check out Karen's ASIN. Okay, so we've got Ollie adult multivitamin. This is actually my wife and I eat these Ollie adult multivitamin things. Not this probiotic one, but other ones. Okay, this is an interesting sales rank, and this is sort of going back. There's two things going on here. One, remember our middle school math. It's trying to show us ranks of 200,000 and ranks of 100. And a graph cannot, like if your legend is like, oh, every square is 100,000, of course it's going to look like a flat line because you can't show it. Okay, I'm going to zoom in just for the past a little bit. Currently, this is selling all the time. This is flying off the shelf. But then people are going to be like, oh, but why? How come like in December it went up there and there it went up there and there it went up there? So I can almost 100%, I would say I'm 95% sure of what happened here, that this item is a variation. If we click on this, let me see, Amazon.com. If we click on this, there are, yep, sure enough. So there are a bunch of different variations. Now, the way that variations work on Amazon is all of the variations feed into each other and they all share a sales rank. So this one item is not ranked 100,000 in health and beauty or whatever the category is. It's all of these items combined are ranked 100. Now, does that make this a bad listing? No, not at all. These are still all selling very well, but it is significantly different. Like one item ranked 100 in what category is this? Is this like health and beauty or something? In health and household is the category. So if this were one single ASIN ranked 106 in health and household, yes, that is like thousands a day probably. Okay, flying off the shelf. Now this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And yeah, 9 different variations. So it's not quite as good, but it's still very good. A couple things I see here. 70 count. Interesting. Why this is 12. Oh, because Amazon is on those listings and Amazon is not on these listings. Okay. This could be, I'm so sorry if this is somebody's replen. This could potentially be a decent replen for somebody. I don't know exactly how much this costs, Karen. If you want to share that in the chat, you can. If you don't want to, it's totally fine. Let me actually, we can probably figure this out with some simple Google power. All right, let's just punch that into Google real fast. It should pull it up. All right, $19.99, 70 count. Yep. Okay. So if this is $19.99, punch that in there. You're making about $4 on each one. Not terrible, not amazing. The sales rank is very good, so this will absolutely sell. The price history. Okay, so we've looked at, let me zoom in a little bit just so we get rid of those weird outliers. So the first thing you're trying to check out, is it selling? Yes, we see it selling. All right, sales rank is moving all the time. It looks sort of like a skyline. All right, that's good news. Second thing you want to check, the price history. Is it consistently about the same price, or is the price jumping all over the place? Now, right now, it looks like the price sort of dropped. It was like 60, 50. That seems super high. Maybe you'll sell it for that much. Now it's 39-ish, and sort of people are having some penny wars here. It looks like it's going down by like a penny each day. And historically, this sells for about 38, 35, 38, 40. Right? So historically, it's pretty much right about where we are right now. I would say if you looked at it back here, like if you had scanned this on, let's say January 1st, and you're like, whoa, it's selling for $63. That's insane. It might have. You probably could have sold a couple at that price, but when you look historically, it's probably not going to continue selling for $63. It's probably historically going to sell for about 38-ish, give or take $2 or $3. Okay. So yeah, if that sort of helps you there. If there's other specific questions you had about that, Karen, you can drop them below. We can see here. So the same thing happened down here. The review count. This review count where it says there's 360 reviews, that's for all of those variations combined. Then when this was unmerged, so it became no longer a variation, it was like its own standalone thing. The standalone product only had 20 reviews. And then it was remerged back into the group. So then it bumped up. So that's what's happening there. It was unmerged and remerged and unmerged and remerged a couple times. It's nothing really to worry about. That's not uncommon on Amazon. I mean, you can obviously see when it is unmerged, it's not selling as well. It's more like it's ranked like 100,000 or so if it's just by itself as opposed to 100. But even still, I mean, it's still selling even when it's not merged together with stuff. All right. Okay, let's see if we can get another one. If you guys can share the ASIN, that would be helpful. I think I saw someone share a UPC. That's prefer an ASIN. Okay, Lauren shared one. All right, let me show this. You guys can pull it up on your own screens too. So B000R95BH6. All right, so let's check this one out. We'll do a little analysis of this. All right, let me go back to Keepa and share my screen. Okay, so we do the search. If you are in store and doesn't provide data for this product, maybe I typed it in wrong. If I typed it in wrong, let me know. Keepa doesn't actually store data for every single product. There are some that it just can't watch. But yeah, let me see if there's any other ones. So when Keepa shows like X amount of drops in a 90-day average, that's how many times they're estimating the sales rank has gone down. You can sort of loosely base your purchase off of that, but I don't really like it. I personally think that they added that figure because people asked them to add that, and people sort of like their crutches. People really want to see exactly how many times is this selling per month, and that's just not possible to know. There's absolutely no software out there that is capable of telling you that. Not even Amazon can tell you that. Okay, it's impossible information to know. You can get rough guesstimates, which is about as good as that XX for drops thing does. It's like if it dropped that many times, well, it probably sold at least that many times, but it could be hundreds or even thousands more than that. Let me see. Okay, so is there a better way to use Keepa? Yes, when you're on your phone. The better way to use Keepa on your phone is to integrate it with your scanning software. So I personally use Scoutify. Let me see if I can pull up my video for this. I personally use Scoutify to subscriptions, YouTube sub. That's not a bummer. I personally use Scoutify too when I'm scanning. So I will scan something, and then to check Keepa, it's just one little button. I just press Keepa, and then it pulls up Keepa, and I don't have to stand there like typing in all those little itty bitty numbers. Maybe someone can post the video. I made a video on YouTube a year ago of how to integrate your Scoutify 2 with Keepa so that it's just nice and easy. You just press one little button. I have a specific video for that. I can't find a link to it right at the moment because I'm not logged into YouTube. But I posted the link. I mean, I'm going to show it. That's a pain in the butt to type, but if you're in the chat, you can copy and paste that. That'll be good. All right. If the sales rank is low and Amazon is selling, can I sell? Yeah, absolutely. I have never not purchased something solely because Amazon was also selling it. There are things that Amazon is selling that I don't sell, but it's never specifically because Amazon is selling it. Let me see if I can find a good example. I think actually the chainsaw that we were looking at was a good example of this. Let me double check. Or if any of you guys have an example of something Amazon is like sometimes on and sometimes not on. Okay, perfect. I will use this. Okay, so, and let me actually, here's another neat little trick for you guys. The ASIN is up in your URL bar. It always starts with B0 something, something, something. I can look at Keepa here, but I'm gonna pull it up here so you guys get like the full screen version of Keepa. Okay, so we can see the past year, it's been great. The price has pretty consistently been about 150. Sometimes it drops to like 120. Sometimes it goes up to 200. In the height of COVID, like the COVID summer, yeah, people couldn't keep this in stock. It was going for like 220, something like that. Now, way back here, we see Amazon is on the listing for 130, 140, 150-ish places in there. Now, if we look back here, if I had scanned it on February 6th and I saw Amazon was on it, but it was also selling, the next thing you need to decide is, can you profitably sell it and still compete with Amazon? Let's say you found this on clearance for 50 bucks, okay? If you bought it for 50 and you're selling it for 130, you've got a lot of room to spare. Let me, yeah, you're working with, let's see, you bought it for 50. $61 of profit margin. So even if the price drops by $50, you're still making $10 of profit. So even if they have to sell it for, what is that, 70, 80 bucks, okay? Even if you're selling it for $80, you're still making $10 of profit. If that is the case, I will 100% list that, try to sell it, and compete with Amazon. For the most part, Amazon will share the buy box. Sometimes they don't, but even the ones that they don't, savvy customers can still see, oh, I can buy this for 130 from Amazon, or I could buy it for 90 from this third-party seller, and they'll buy it from the third-party seller. Even though you don't officially have the buy box, you still get sales. All right, so I never don't compete with Amazon. Now, on the flip side, if I bought this for $100 and Amazon is on the listing for 130, it's like, oh man, Amazon is selling this, I can't sell it. That's not the case. I'm not selling it because Amazon is on it. I'm not selling it because it's currently being sold for 130, and that's not profitable for me. And Amazon has way more stock than I will ever have, okay? So that's why I would stay away from that if that were the case. But if I'm buying it for like 50, oh, it does not matter to me one bit if Amazon is on that listing, okay? All right, hopefully that sort of helps. Let me know if there are any other ASINs or really any other questions that you guys are having. I mean, I wanted to show you a couple Keepa examples for you guys. So I've shown a couple. We've got just a few more ASINs that I'll type in, and then see if we have any other questions, and then I will pop off for the evening. This might be a short one tonight, guys. All right. The next ASIN we're going to share is from Katie over on YouTube. I appreciate that, Katie. This is B07 4LB 3NM7. Okay, let's take this. And I will share my screen again, punch this over into Keepa. What? What? Hang on a second. B07 4LB 3NM7. Unfortunately, there's no way for me to like copy and paste your thing in here. All right, so mainstays, 20-pound turkey roaster thing. Okay, ooh, this is a good one. All right, good job, Katie. Is it good? Share, Katie. Okay. There's a reason why I'm saying that this is a good one. So I'm going to turn everything off. Let's look at the past 3 months. There's no sales rank. There's no sales rank. How are we supposed to know if this sells? This isn't selling. Normally, if you're an absolute beginner, like you're brand new to Amazon, close your ears and skip this part of the video because I'm giving you too much information. Sort of like you teach kindergartners that G says G. You don't teach them about like NG. You don't teach them how to spell knight or king or anything like that, or gnat. All right. G says G. If you're a beginner, close your ears. This isn't for you. If you've been selling for a little bit, this is the part that is for you. There are a lot of things on Amazon that don't have a sales rank that are in fact selling. This is one of those things that is in fact selling. Okay. Now, unfortunately, Katie, I don't know if I would recommend selling this because I'm showing it on a live video and there's like 150 people watching this. If 150 people weren't watching this, I'd say there's a decent chance that this is actually like a really solid buy. I can pull up the price later. So I see that there's no sales rank. I see that there is a price history. It's consistently, at least for now, been selling for about 35. Let's back this out a year. It sold for a little bit more back here, and no one had it in stock here. So there's no pricing, as in for 50 bucks there, no one had it in stock. 40 bucks there, no one had it in stock. Back here, historically, $30 to $40 is about average. Okay, it might go a little bit higher when people are out of stock. It might not. Now, here's the interesting part. Okay, here's how you know that this is selling. There's two main factors here. Okay, remember how I said there's 3 steps with Keepa: the sales rank, the price history, and then number 3, the counts down here, the review count and the new offer count. The new offer count is what tells you that this is selling. Okay, I'm going to zoom in to this section right here. I'm going to turn off everything except for new offer count. Okay, so I only want you guys looking at this bottom section right here, the new offer count. I see on October, there's 3 people selling this, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, blah, 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 blah. We go up all the way to 20 people, and then 18 people, and then 17, and then 16, and then 15. Now what's happening? This doesn't have a sales rank, so it's not selling. If it wasn't selling, how did we go from 20 people selling it to 15 people selling it? What happened? They're going out of stock. They're selling their stock and they're going out of stock. When you sell out, you're no longer listed as a seller. So that's why it's going from 20 down to 15, down to 14, then jumps back up. These people maybe replenish it. They're like, whoa, I sold out. So all those 20 people who, or the 5 or 6 people who sold out between that, oh, let me grab some more. So they grab some more, boom, jumps back up to 20. Then it jumps down to 16. So you see this movement in the new offer count. That tells you without a shadow of a doubt that this is in fact selling. Okay. The second thing that that this is selling is the review count. It's getting reviews. If it wasn't selling, how could it possibly be getting reviews? It's getting about what is this? A review per week. Now, just to give you guys some really rough averages, these are very rough. Don't use this as like a Bible for how many are selling, but just to give you a guesstimate. Usually about 1 in every 100 to 200 items that sell get a review. Just to give you a rough ballpark. So if you're at 12 reviews here at like the end of October, and then 13 reviews here like the middle of November, in that 2-week time frame, there's probably 100, 200 people that bought that product within that time frame. And then again, between November 13th and November 18th, about another 100 to 200 people, and another 100 and 200 people the next week, and the next week, and the next week. And this has actually been selling pretty well, which makes sense because it's Christmas time. People buy big turkeys for Christmas and New Year's for their families. The other big time is during Thanksgiving. So you would see, like October, November, looks like it was selling a little bit more. All right. So great example. I love it. Yeah, that's fantastic. You can even zoom out to like all time and you can see all time. This is moving in the past. It's not moving like crazy. I mean, this isn't flying off the shelf, but it is moving enough to warrant, assuming that you are profitable, this is moving enough for you to buy a few. Now, let me actually pull this up. Now, for those of you guys who are interested, who you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. If you have not taken our Replen workshop, this is basically like everything a huge part of what we do in our Replen workshop. If you're interested in that, go to hustlebuddiesofficial.com and go find it over there. So let's see. We got this mainstay. Let me pull up a new tab. How much does this cost? Google should be able to tell me. I don't want it from there. Maybe $24. It says out of stock, delivery not available. It's hard to tell sometimes with Walmart.com if this is a third-party seller or if it's the in-store price. Let's go with the in-store because $24 seems reasonable for this to me personally. So if your buy cost is $24, on average, you're selling it for about 34, probably not a great buy. Yeah, there's a couple spikes here and there, like maybe back here, there's kind of a big spike. Yeah, or maybe actually, ooh, that actually would have been really good. No one was selling this, like 4th of July. No one was in stock here. The new offer count, I'll pull this up. Look at this. New offer count, nothing. One person is selling it there, boom. Instantly they sell out, like within a day or two, okay? This actually would have been a really good time to try to sell this item because you got no competition. And like no one was on this listing, no one was selling this listing. You could price it at just about anything that you wanted. If we look at the listing price, so we're going to correlate here. When the person jumped on, they sold this for $50. They bought it for like, what was that, 20, 24, something like that, $24. They sold it for 50. I know 100% they made profit on that, selling it for $50. And they're the only person. They probably should have bought 10, 20, 30 of these. Maybe do a test buy because, again, we don't want to go so deep that we make some mistakes. Buy 5 or 10 of these here in like June, July, when no one else is selling it. Do yours sell? Can you sell 5 or 10? Do they sell in a week? Do they sell in a month? Well, however many sell, that's how many more you should buy for the next time. All right. Okay. Awesome. When is the next workshop? So Logan, the current-ish workshop, it's all hosted inside of another separate private Facebook group. So if you get it now, you'll get the recording of the previous one, and you'll also get a ticket to the next live event, which will also be recorded. So you sort of get both. But the next one will be coming most likely at the end of February. We're a little bit too busy right now to handle putting that on again. But we will be doing another live workshop at the end of February, and it's going to be killer. I mean, like the first one was good. Probably the best thing that we've ever put out. This next one, we're like taking so much of the money that we got from that and reinvesting it back into like bringing in other people, buying other special. Oh, it's going to be so big, guys. I'm so excited. OMG, do the replan. It's the greatest class ever. Thank you. Yeah, it's, I mean, by far it had the most feedback out of anything we've ever created. And it's funny too, because it was sort of like, it was the least planned thing that I did. It was like a week or two before one of my vacations. And I was like, there's a lot of people asking about replens. I should just put together a little workshop real fast. It's like, so I just wrote down like a list on my computer. Okay, here's all the things I want to talk about. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time editing this and putting it into videos. I'm just going to do like, I don't know how long this is going to take, maybe 4 hours, maybe 5 hours, maybe 6 hours. I'm just going to start talking. And once we're done, we're done. And that's basically what we did. And by far, it got the most positive feedback. I would say that out of everything we've ever done, people have made the most money from that. If the sales rank is low and the number of sellers is high, should I still sell? That's sort of subjective and it depends. Usually, for me personally, I don't really care about the number of sellers. The only time that I would care about the number of sellers is if I see a huge spike. Let me see if I can find an example of this. Let me see. How about Ryan's World egg? This is probably a decent example. Nope, bad example. Let's find a different Ryan's World egg. How about this one? New offer count. No, that's a bad one too. Unfortunately, I can't find a good example. What I'm talking about is like if something is clearanced out across the country, like Target is clearancing out every single one of these, and you see it start showing up, like maybe you're a part of like a BOLO list or a BOLO group or something like that, and they're like, oh, go to Target and buy this. It's clearanced out countrywide. It'll be good for like a day or two if you can FBM it. For the next month or two, it's going to be garbage because everybody and their mom just bought that product. Not just people in BOLO groups, but I mean, just everyone is finding it. And if it's available across the country and if it looks profitable, everyone's going to see it. So what I do avoid is when I see spikes in the number of sellers. If it's like, oh, usually this has 50 sellers, doesn't matter. Usually this has 100 sellers, doesn't matter. If I see 2 weeks ago this had 50 sellers and now like today it has 100 sellers, I might be a little bit worried about that because that's a big spike. Gaining 50 more sellers in 7 days, that's a pretty big spike. Or if it goes like, oh, 10 sellers, 10 sellers, 10 sellers, boom, 50 sellers. Oh boy, like something happened and I might stay away from that. So it's not necessarily the number of sellers, but it's the movement of the sellers. Shout out to the replan workshop. Awesome. Made my money at the first source. That's exactly what it's all about, guys. That is exactly why we did it. I tried to like pull the curtain back. This is how I do what I do on a daily basis. I'm not hiding anything. I even showed you guys some of my actual replens that I had been, I mean, I stopped selling them since then, but I showed people like, these are ones that I'm killing. I'm killing my own business and my own listings in order to show you guys real world examples of stuff that I've been selling. So yeah, that's awesome. They do not. Yeah, you have to pay for the workshop to get access. There's a lot of people who request to be in the group, but we have all these verification methods and all this other stuff. So yeah, we can let spouses in, but that's it. It is a private group. Let me see. Any other big questions? Can you show who won the buy box and how often? Yeah, that's a little bit more advanced. I can show you how to do that a little bit here. Let me go back to, how about that Nike sock again? Sorry, Nike and these socks. This should be a decent example. I don't do this too often, so it might take me just a second here to pull it up, and I'll let you follow along what I'm doing. Okay, so I pulled up this Nike socks. I believe it's in data. Again, I rarely do this. I don't personally find this super important, but you can do this, okay? So I went to data and then offers. You can see here like how long the person has been selling it for. So like this person, this Fit Line Supply, they've been selling this 18 months. This 16 months. Like this is a long-term replen item. I'll tell you right now, you get these at the Nike clearance store. Once a month, every other month, they'll have a sale on these and they're like $10 or $15 or something like that. Like it's like buy one, get one free. So that's where you can get these. And people know that. This person obviously sells a lot of Nike stuff. Fit Line Supply. Yeah, I'm sure they've been selling this for a long time. So you can see like their historical price and all of that. Where is there we go, buy box statistic. You can see the percentage. So this club expert, they've won it 20% of the time. This person has won it. Oh, and you can also change the date range. So like in the past 30 days. 20%, 12%, 9%. Let's go out to the whole past year. Oh, there it is, Fit Line Supply, the one we were just talking about. Out of the entire year, they've had the buy box 25% of the time, which that's kind of nuts. And then you can see their average price here. So it's interesting. I would say I only look into this type of thing if I'm going really deep on something. Like maybe I found a new wholesaler and I'm buying a whole pallet of something. I can like, wow, I can get a whole pallet of these Nike socks. How many should I buy? How deep should I go? That's when I would sort of look into this further information. If you're just getting 1, 2, 5, 10, this is information overload. It's unimportant. It's work smarter and work faster. Rather than going this deep into the info, but this information is available for people who want to see it. All right. So yeah, that was a great question. Let me put this back up. That's where you can get the replan workshop. Let's see. So I use Keepa. You buy 10 or 20 of that item. Do you see that they will all sell, or will some sit at the warehouse? It depends on the item. It depends how much of the buy box you get. It depends on all sorts of things. The data doesn't tell you if you will sell yours. It just says, is that item selling? Maybe there's 1,000 people all trying to sell the same item. And then you got to make sure that you're competitive on price. I know with all the people that we do coaching calls with, we've been doing coaching calls like every Monday, by the way. For those of you guys unaware, but the number one thing that we have seen with our coaching students over the past year is people's like, oh, I'm just not selling my stuff. Like I have 100 items in and I haven't sold anything in a week. I say, whoa, well, like, are you repricing your stuff? Well, yeah. How much? Well, I'll go in like once a week. That's not what we're talking about. If you're not using a repricer, if you're not paying for software, and not everyone can, if you're not paying for software, you need to be doing that like 3+ times per day. Okay. Do it in the morning when you wake up before you go to work. Do it during your lunch break. do it when you get home from work. All right. That's what I was doing back when I was a teacher and doing this. Reprice your stuff all the time. That's how you'll make sure you can sell through your stuff. What is the buy box? This is a good question. Again, we've got YouTube videos about this on our channel, youtube.com/c/hustlebuddiesofficial. But I can sort of explain it here as well. Let me go to Amazon. Am I sharing my screen? There we go. Okay, so we'll go to Amazon. Let me click on this. What is the buy box? The buy box is who am I buying it from? If me as a customer click buy it now or add to cart, who am I buying it from? Most customers have no idea that Amazon is actually 70% third-party sellers like you and me. They probably don't even know that multiple people are buying it. They're just like, oh, I need this thing. I'm going to buy it from Amazon. No one ever says, I'm going to buy it on Amazon from CPO outlets. Okay, you see how tiny that is? Like no one sees that, okay? They buy it from Amazon. People think they're buying it from, oh, it's Amazon Prime. I'm getting this from Amazon. No, you're getting this from CPO outlets. CPO outlets has inventory in the Amazon warehouse, and CPO outlets has the buy box right now because if I click buy it now, that's who I'm buying it from. But there are plenty of other sellers on this. Let's see. No battery. There we go. New and used. There are 19 other people selling this product right now. All of these people. And this, like AB Promise, Bubbly Sue's, Meets Your Needs, that's tacky. None of these people have the buy box right now. This person has the buy box. This, the OC, what is it? CPO outlets. That is the buy box, okay? The buy box can be FBA or FBM. In the past, it has favored FBA. Since COVID, it's really evened out. It's right in the middle. Where is the replan workshop? If you go to our site, so I'll do it with you, hustlebuddiesofficial.com. This is our website. You can go up here, all classes. You can click on the replan workshop, and this page tells you all the information. Here's what's inside of it, blah, 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 blah. All right, and there's a new one coming out in February. If you get it now, you get both. Yeah. Let me see a couple more questions, then I'll hop off because we're getting about an hour long here. Is it worth chasing the buy box? Usually you want the buy box. It's an expensive item and it's tanking, but people are just racing to the bottom. This is sort of a judgment call. Sometimes it's good to wait and sometimes it's good to churn and burn. There's no 100% correct thing to do in 100% of the situations. If you're at a place, so I'll use like Lego sellers as an example. I have a lot of friends who are full-time Lego sellers. That's the only thing they sell. It's almost like the stock market to them. What they do, they'll spend the entire year buying Lego sets on clearance, on sales stuff that's maybe either discounted at the store, or maybe they know that it's going to be, what's it called? Like put in the closet or retired. I think retired sets, whatever the verbiage is for that. Sets that are no longer going to be made. They buy it all year and then they only sell it during Christmas. So they're not worrying about who has the buy box right now. Like they might list up there for like a $50 set for $200. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. Then Christmas time, that's when they care. Boom, they sell it for $200 and they're happy. And that's their business model. That's great. I personally usually err on the opposite side of things. I would rather make a fast nickel than a slow quarter. And for me, that's because of the effects of compounding my money. Because if you make, let's say you buy something for dollars. You're like, man, I'm going to buy this Christmas tree for $10. And if I just wait until next Christmas, so 11 months from now, I'm going to sell it for $100. After fees and everything, let's say you make $70. Wow, that's awesome. Turning $10 into 70, that's incredible. And that is great. For me, I personally prefer getting, let's say, the Christmas candy, where it's like, okay, I'm going to buy this Christmas candy for $1 now. Or let's say I buy 10 packs. It's like $10 worth, same as the Christmas tree. And that stuff sells year round. So maybe I buy it for $1 and I sell it for $10. And after all the fees and everything, I'm making like one extra, like I'm making $2. So I pay myself back and I get 100% ROI. Okay, but if I turn $10 into $20 and I can do that in a month, well, then I can turn $20 into $40 the next month, and then 40 into 80 the next month, and then 80 into 160 the next month. Now remember, our Christmas tree, we just made $70 waiting 11 months. Well, I just made like $160 in 3 months because I'm compounding the money and churning it over and over and over. To me personally, that's what I prefer. But that's not to say the other business model can't work. It does work, and I know a lot of people who make it work, and that's great. People are asking questions through both Facebook and YouTube. Twisted Wizardry. Let's see. You mind talking more about a repricer and what you mean by it? So there are programs that will reprice your stuff for you. There's many different ones. We actually have a blog article about this. If you go to, now this is a different internet site than what I just posted. If you go to hustlebuddies.com, Jake, go to Hustle Buddies. This is our blog, not where we like host our workshops and things like that. This is just our blog. We have an article on hustlebuddies.com all about repricers, when you should get them, which ones you can sort of look into. There's a bunch of different ones out there. I sort of put them into 3 categories of, like, if you're a really small seller, this is the one you should use. If you're sort of a medium seller, these are your options. If you're a large seller, this is what you should use. So you look on there, and it's hustlebuddies.com is what you're looking for. I wonder if I have a little thing. Hustlebuddies.com. Where'd it go? Haha. Okay. So yeah, that's the internet site to check that out. Have you ever had luck asking a brand owner to retract an IP claim? Yes, I have. That I would recommend should be your first step, because that's like nothing bad happens. The worst case scenario is they just ignore your email. And that's better than like Amazon, where the worst case scenario is like things get escalated. The worst case scenario there is they just ignore your email. So yes, I would recommend doing that. Most people don't want to ruin your business. They don't want, some do, but most people don't want to ruin your business. They're just trying to make sure you're not actually selling counterfeits, because like counterfeiting and stuff like that, it actually is a big problem with Amazon. And they don't know that you're not selling counterfeits from like China or something. So yes, reach out to them. There's lots of different ways to do that. You can even, we've even like looked people up on LinkedIn before, like find their like legal team or the person in charge of that from LinkedIn, from like, let's say, I don't know, you're doing Nike. Okay, that's a ridiculous example. Let's just pretend. All right, Nike. Okay, let's go to LinkedIn, find like the legal team or the PR person or brand management or something like that from LinkedIn for who does that at the company of Nike. And then you find their contact info from LinkedIn, and then you send them a text, send them a phone call, send them an email like, hey, this is what just happened. We're an Amazon seller. We're a small business. You guys, like, we're getting kicked off. We want to help you. Please help us so that we don't get kicked off, and we will do whatever you want. It's also sometimes a cool opportunity to offer to help brands restrict their products, because a lot of brands don't know, like, that they were ungated for everybody. Like, oh, let's just pretend that Nike was completely ungated for everybody. They don't want to be that. Maybe they don't know that they can restrict their brand. So you can say, hey, like, we understand that like you had this issue. We would love it if you could retract this. We're also happy to help you set up brand restrictions and show you how to gate this product on Amazon, because right now any third-party seller is allowed to sell this if they buy it from Walmart. And I'm happy to show you guys how to do that. You can sort of send an email like that. If they respond, then you figure out how to do what I just said. Okay, don't worry about figuring that out now. Wait until you get a yes and then figure it out. There's a little business life hack for you. You fake it till you make it, guys. Yes, we are missing the warm Florida sun right now. It's like 20 degrees, I think, up here in Fort Wayne in the retro house we just bought. So, Twisted Wizardry, this is an interesting question. This is something we did. Okay, I'm going to admit something really stupid that I did at the beginning. I did this a lot as an early seller. There's lots of sites online, is it like Viper? I'm trying to think of the other, where it's like they'll give you products for like 80% off, 90% off, and then they just want you to write a review about it. They don't need to have like a 5-star review. You're not breaking the TOS or anything. But it's like a newly launched thing. They'll give it to you super cheap. It's like, oh my gosh, this is a fantastic way. I can get products for 90% off and then just resell them. All right. I thought I was genius. I thought I was like the smartest person ever. What happens though you think about the type of items that this is going on with. The type of items that are on these sites are individual brand owners like me and you who are starting their own brand. Let's say you start your own brand of wine glass or something. You're like, oh man, I just launched my new wine glass. I need lots of reviews and all this stuff. I'm going to do giveaways and all this stuff. This is my only product. I have nothing but time to make this product do really well. I am looking at this product, my product, every single day. All of a sudden, a week from now, I see somebody is on my listing. What the heck? No one can possibly be selling this if it's not a counterfeit, because I'm only buying this from my manufacturer and I am the only person selling it on Amazon. So if anyone else is selling it, it has to be counterfeit. They're not really thinking that someone could be reselling it. So you will get so many IP claims, inauthentic claims. They will, like, if me as like the original brand owner saw that, I would buy all of your stock. I would see what I got. Most likely, I would expect it to be fake. If I saw my own product, I would be very confused. I would probably slice it to bits. Hint, this has happened to me multiple times. I'll probably slice it to bits and then return it all for being damaged or being fake or whatever else. And I would get a full refund as a customer, and you would get back all of my product that was all slashed to bits. Is it a dirty thing for that brand to do? Yeah, but it's also kind of a dirty thing that you did. So there's a number of free products that actually, if you see my older videos, I have a salt lamp behind me. That is the exact story of that salt lamp. Is I bought it, it was like 90% off or something. I tried to resell it, so I'm a genius. They slashed it to bits, like the whole box and everything, and then returned it to me. Like, this is not our product. Stop selling our stuff. We will come after you if you keep trying to do this. So no, I don't recommend doing that. You can, but you're not going to last very long if you do. It's not worth your headache. All the product compliance things, I don't want to really give official advice because things change all the time. But I would say in general, this type of thing tends to work itself out with enough time. Yeah, yeah, you've done it twice, think I'll stop. Yeah, I don't recommend doing that because the brands are going to come after you. Even like you're playing dirty, they will also play dirty and they will get you off that listing. This sort of depends. A lot of stuff sells year round. Like, you've got to be really sure that it doesn't sell. Fishing stuff, it sells year round. Yes, it sells better during spring, but there's also ice fishing. There's also fishing in the fall. There's people who live in Florida, in Key West, and they're fishing all year round. So stuff sells year round for the most part. It's pretty rare that I hold on to stuff. I'm currently holding on to probably the only thing I've held on to in the past like 2 years. I'm holding on to it for about 2 or 3 months. I was just waiting for Q4, and that was mostly like the Q4 fees and all of that stuff. They're a little bit higher, so I was just kind of waiting for that stuff to pass. And now I'm at my new house, so it's all stuck in my old house. Once I go back, I'll list that all. But that's really the first time that I've waited to list something in a pretty long time. All right, and for the final question, Karen, would you run from a listing that only had one seller and that seller's name matches the product name or the brand name? Yes, I would 100% run from that. If, like, my salt lamp, I think it's like Loyvier or something like that, and Loyvier was the only seller, yeah, run away from that. They're gonna fight dirty because that's their baby. They're watching it closely. They're like, this is the only place we're selling it at. No one else could possibly be selling this. They will come after you. Whether or not they should, whether or not you have a legitimate item that's authentic and all that doesn't really matter. They will continue coming after you, and they probably will play dirty, so it's not worth your time. So I would personally avoid that. All right? All right, that is going to wrap up our questions for tonight. Thank you guys so much for coming out to our Sunday night live. Oh, where's our video for the new house? If you look up on YouTube, The Jackson FI, that is our new house. Sell me your old house cheap. No, I only do house arbitrage. Yeah, if you guys want to see our new cool retro house, go on YouTube, look up The Jackson FI, and we did a whole cool little first look video about it. It's sort of my wife's side project. All right, thank you guys for coming out to our Sunday Night Live. We will see you next Sunday, hopefully at the same time. I usually start these around 7:30. We will see you there. Hustle on, everybody. Let's make some